Like school, e-learning.
Question 4. And this is an academic task, which means that we are going to have to work with materials that are academic in nature, meaning that they are materials that you would either read for homework or a lecture that you would have in class. And this academic task asks us to determine what the how the lecture and the reading passage are related. The question says, the professor describes a study conducted at a winery. Explain how this study demonstrates the method and application of environmental impact analysis of the production process. So, first we need to know what the environmental impact analysis of the production process, and that is pretty self-explanatory. It's environment, which means, sort of with nature, with trees and mountains and rivers and stuff. Impact, or effect, analysis or study. So we're looking at the study of what happens to nature of when something is being produced. So this study is the study at the winery is an example of an environmental impact analysis of the production process. So we're going to start off by saying that there's a study or research being conducted of the environmental impact analysis of the production process at a winery. And a winery is a place where you make wine. They're scattered all throughout France and Italy and California and Australia and all sorts of other places. Anywhere you can grow grapes, basically, there's a winery. And what happened was this Italian winemaker, WM winemaker, and a university wanted to know the environmental impact of producing one bottle of wine. So they're determining the environmental impact of the production process of one bottle of wine. So a team of experts, or people who knew what they were doing, observed or watched the winemaking process from start to finish, from the very beginning, from when they picked grapes to the very end when they fermented the grapes and then drank it, I suppose. And they found that the process of making wine was incredibly wasteful, which means that there was a lot of extra stuff being created that wasn't used. Lots of garbage, or lots of water being wasted, or energy being wasted, electricity being wasted that wasn't necessary. And he gives us 2 examples of things that are wasteful about producing one bottle of wine. And that is 4 liters of water are wasted for only 1 bottle of wine. That's a 4-to-1 ratio. That is not a good ratio. And there was abundance of paper, or a lot of paper and plastic waste. So they would probably just throw paper away instead of recycling it, or getting a new piece of paper when they didn't need it, or something like that, to produce more paper waste than was absolutely necessary. So then we think about the owner. The owner of this winery was shocked. He was surprised. And he was surprised because he thought his process was ecologically friendly, or eco-friendly, which means that it was not wasteful, it was friendly to the environment. He thought that they didn't, use too much water or too much electricity, and so he was very surprised. And so because he was so surprised, he changed his production process and is now much less wasteful. Now with this question you need to be careful because there's extra information given at the end. The lecture talks about how small businesses produce something like 60% of industrial waste, but that's okay. Well, it's not okay. But that is changing because they're becoming more educated about how much waste they're producing, and all sorts of things. But you need to read the question carefully. Your question says, explain how the study demonstrates the method and application of environmental impact analysis of the production process. It's not talking about what is the effect of small businesses. So we're going to leave that out. That is not what the question is asking. It's really important to read the question very carefully before you get started. You also probably won't have enough time to answer that part of it as well, because there's so much being said in this lecture that is important to the question that you won't have time to answer stuff that is not relevant. So when you look through mine, notice that there is nothing being said about small businesses and their waste. And you will see all of these sort of examples and the formula for following question type 4. So take a look.